It's 2024. The world is at a critical juncture, facing unprecedented environmental challenges. The shadow of plastic looms larger than ever, casting a dark cloud over our future. Everyone was watching as people from almost 200 countries met in Nairobi, Kenya. The air was thick with anticipation and hope. This gathering was seen as a pivotal moment, a chance to turn the tide against the ever-growing menace of plastic pollution. This wasn't just any meeting, this was a super important meeting, a chance to make a worldwide plan to fight the growing problem of plastic trash. The stakes were incredibly high, and the world was watching closely, hoping for a breakthrough. Everyone was hopeful, but also a little nervous. Could we all finally agree on how to fix this huge problem? The discussions were intense, with delegates passionately debating the best course of action. The room was filled with a mix of optimism and anxiety. Sadly, the answer was no. Despite the high hopes and earnest efforts, the conference ended in disappointment. The delegates left the hall with heavy hearts, knowing that a crucial opportunity had been missed. Even after weeks of talking, the meeting didn't work out. The ambitious goal of creating a comprehensive plan to tackle plastic pollution remained out of reach. The sense of failure was palpable, and the consequences of inaction loomed large. The dream of a real plan to stop plastic trash, from when it's made to when it's thrown away, didn't happen. The vision of a cleaner, healthier planet seemed to slip further away, as the reality of political and economic differences took center stage. This is a really big deal. It shows how different everyone's ideas are and how some people care more about money, which makes it hard to fix this environmental emergency. The influence of powerful industries and conflicting national interests made consensus elusive. What happened in Nairobi isn't just a small problem, it's a serious warning. The failure to reach an agreement serves as a stark reminder of the challenges we face in addressing global environmental issues. Plastic trash won't just go away on its own. We need to do something now. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. Every day that passes without action, the problem grows worse, affecting ecosystems and human health. This is really important, and if we don't do anything, bad things will happen. The consequences of inaction are dire, with plastic pollution threatening to overwhelm our planet's natural beauty and biodiversity. The world is filled with plastic. From our cities to our oceans, plastic waste is everywhere, creating an environmental crisis of epic proportions. From the deepest parts of the ocean to the tallest mountains, plastic is everywhere. No corner of the earth is untouched by this pervasive problem. It's hurting our oceans, animals, food, and even us. The impact of plastic pollution is far-reaching, affecting marine life, contaminating our food supply, and posing serious health risks to humans. We really need a worldwide plan to fix this. The time for action is now. We must come together, set aside our differences, and commit to a sustainable future free from the scourge of plastic pollution. The meetings in Nairobi were about a lot of complicated things. Delegates from all over the world gathered to discuss pressing issues that affect us all. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and urgency as representatives prepared to tackle some of the most challenging problems of our time. Three big problems came up: making plastic, helping poor countries, and dealing with dangerous chemicals. These issues are interconnected, each one influencing the others in complex ways. The production of plastic has skyrocketed over the years, leading to an overwhelming amount of waste, especially in developing nations that lack the infrastructure to manage it. First, everyone argued about how much plastic we make. The debate was intense, with passionate arguments on both sides. Some delegates pointed out the environmental devastation caused by plastic pollution, while others highlighted the economic benefits of the plastic industry. Many countries, especially the ones with the most plastic trash, wanted to limit how much plastic is made. They argued that reducing production is the only way to tackle the root of the problem. Images of overflowing landfills and polluted rivers served as stark reminders of the urgency of the issue. But countries with big plastic factories didn't like this idea. They were concerned about the economic impact of such measures. For them, the plastic industry is a significant source of revenue and employment. They feared that cutting production would lead to job losses and economic downturns. They make lots of money from plastic, so they wanted to focus on recycling instead. They proposed investing in advanced recycling technologies to manage the waste more effectively. This, they argued, would allow them to continue benefiting from the plastic industry while mitigating its environmental impact. Second, helping poorer countries was a big problem. These nations are often the hardest hit by plastic pollution, yet they lack the resources to address it. The sight of children scavenging through heaps of plastic waste is a heartbreaking reality in many parts of the world. These countries often have the most plastic trash, but they don't have good ways to deal with it. Their waste management systems are overwhelmed, and the communities suffer as a result. The health and well-being of millions are at stake, making it imperative to find a solution. They asked for help from richer countries. They called for international cooperation and financial assistance to build better waste management infrastructure. The idea was that wealthier nations, which have historically contributed more to the problem, should take responsibility and help those in need. They said that everyone needs to work together to fix this problem. The sentiment was clear: no single country can solve this issue alone. It requires a collective effort with each nation playing its part. The discussions emphasized the importance of solidarity and shared responsibility. Third, the dangerous chemicals in plastic were another big argument. These chemicals pose serious risks to both human health and the environment. Scientists have found that many of these substances can leach into the soil and water, causing long-term damage. Lots of countries wanted stricter rules about these chemicals because they're bad for people and the environment. They pushed for regulations that would limit the use of harmful substances in plastic production. Environmental activists also joined the call, organizing protests to demand action. But some companies didn't want these rules. They argued that such regulations would stifle innovation and increase costs. Industrial lobbyists worked hard to influence the discussions, emphasizing the potential negative impact on business. They said the rules would stop new ideas and hurt their businesses. They claimed that the industry needs the freedom to innovate and develop new materials and products. According to them, overly strict regulations could hinder progress and competitiveness. All these complicated problems, plus the different goals and money situations of each country, made it really hard to agree on anything. The discussions were long and often contentious, with no easy solutions in sight. Despite the challenges, the delegates remained committed to finding a way forward, knowing that the stakes were too high to ignore.